What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. On today's show, I have a guest that's coming on with about 5 years of experience in the fitness industry. He's a fucking wizard when it comes to mobility, when it comes to steel mace training and steel club training. This guy knows his shit. He has a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from Cal State Fullerton. He has his FRC, and he's Eldoa number 2. So there's a tier system when it comes to the Eldoa. It has to do with spinal decompression. He's a second tier in that out of 4. So please welcome my guest, Wes Jones. Oh, here we go with the shots. Son of a bitch.
All right, dude, I have bad news for you.
What?
Your Steelers shot glass got broke. So you're gonna
My Steelers shot glass
So you're gonna
broke?
take
What'd you
it out.
guys do?
It just got broke.
I gotta drink out of a fucking Raiders one?
Yeah, sorry about that, bro.
Oh.
Unless you're a Raiders fan.
No, it did not break. Are you just
I might
lying
just
to
say
me?
that just for. I might just say I am just for the fun of it.
I really am sorry it didn't break.
Damn it. That kind of sucked.
We're gonna-
Okay, that's
Well,
fine.
I got you too. So
That's true. I have one at my house. That's
You
true.
just bring it back.
Yeah.
It just broke though.
Well, okay, here we go. You ready? Oh, all right. So,
We're all on empty stomachs, right?
yeah.
It's
So
like,
for the
actually, yes.
Yeah, for the listeners at home, we are taking another shot this week.
Sounds like
with
you're building a
Wes.
tradition.
Yeah, I guess it is. Well, we smoke on here, dude. We
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I forgot my weed though. Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
can-
like, "Wait, this is about training."
It's like, so
Just 'cause you're
we're
healthy?
big. We're big on health here.
We're really
we
big
just
on
we
it.
just want to promote it, but we still get fucked up from time to time.
Every now and again, you just got to. It's fucking Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's wait, what time is it? 12:53
Oh,
and 7 seconds. All right, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Here we go. Fuck. Ugh. Fuck, that tastes like shit.
Wow.
Oh, I'm gonna wash it down with some salt and
drink some
Power
coffee.
Black Seed.
Power black seed right after the Kraken.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that tastes like crap.
Coffee's better.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, actually, coffee would be set.
Coffee
right.
is.
So we're gonna start off real quick with a fire round. Okay, we're gonna get your brain going.
Oh,
So you have to answer one. Fastest speed you've driven in a car.
102.
Okay, it's not bad. Would you rather party with old Steve-O or old Charlie Sheen?
Old Steve-O.
Really?
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
You looking forward to that?
Maybe not.
Oh my god. Okay, Disney Channel or Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon.
Okay. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay. Godfather or Star Wars?
Godfather.
Big or small dogs?
Big.
There we go. Childhood TV show.
Damn, that's a rough one. I can't really think of one. Like nothing that really stood out.
Fucking Ren and Stimpy.
That was a great show.
Yeah,
Let's
right?
go with that.
Okay. Okay, if you had to, what time period would you travel to?
Viking Age.
Ooh.
You see me with all my steel maces and steel
Dude, that's
clubs.
fucking brutal. Those were men back then.
Yeah, it's truth.
We're such pussies.
Utterly. It's like, utterly. By comparison,
Yeah,
utterly.
we are. We would get. I would get fucking slaughtered. My midget ass. Okay.
It's like agile, just going around them,
Yeah.
like just taking out Achilles tendons.
Fuck. Dawn or dusk?
Dawn.
Okay. Princess Ariel or Princess Jasmine?
Ariel.
Ooh. Okay. Would you rather have invisibility or super strength?
Let's go invisibility.
Okay. The last song you listened to?
Let's see here. I listened to a bunch of odd metal, so it was. Let's see what I listened to on the way here. Airplane. It's Airplane. We're good. Pulling Shades by Volumes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that hard rock?
It's like gent metal, like
Okay.
Swedish night
Okay.
nonsense.
Favorite day of the week?
Saturday now. When there's cracking.
Fucking taking shots on the show. Texting or talking? What would you rather do?
Talking.
Okay. Deadlift or squat?
Ooh, squat.
Okay. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Okay. Have you ever gone to see a movie alone?
Yes.
Okay. Last concert you went to?
Damn, what happened before COVID?
Not much.
Actually, a lot of good shit.
all the best things. Oh, last concert I saw. Actually, my buddy's band, where
Okay.
I did the lighting for them,
Uh-huh.
and they're called the John Candy, and they're it started as a joke, but it was a metal band where they sample in movie stuff from like popular 90s, early
What?
2000
No
movies, and
fucking
they put metal to it.
That
It's-
is funny.
It's fantastic.
Okay. Do you think a human life is more valuable than a dog's life? Or do you think it's the other way around?
Now, no.
Ooh. You're the second person. David said the same thing.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of dog? Is it a small dog?
Let's go Chihuahua.
Yeah, no.
You're like, fuck those dogs.
It's like, that's not a dog. It's a big rat.
Oh my God. Okay, would you Kim Kardashian or Kourtney Kardashian?
I don't even pay attention to what Courtney even looks
I
like,
think
or Kim.
Kourtney's hotter.
I haven't seen that show in forever, so
Dude,
I'm like,
Kim has a bunch of fake shit done. You don't
Courtney
think so?
still?
Yeah, Kourtney's hot. She's like the most natural one out of all of them.
Kylie.
She's faker than fucking a
Okay.
plastic
I'd pick Kylie.
thing at the mall.
a plastic thing.
That's what she is.
Not a person, but a thing.
Yeah, she's like, what are those? The mannequins?
Oh yeah, the mannequin.
Fucking A. She's like resembles one of those. Okay, so you originally were supposed to come on the show. I know, forever ago, but stood us up. No, it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. You
came
went
back.
you went to a spinal decompression seminar, right? In
Yeah.
Long Beach. How
Yep.
was that?
It was in Seal Beach, and it was for the Eldoa, and it was probably one of the more just demanding seminars I've ever been to.
Really?
The level of knowledge on the body was gnarly, where I felt dumb for like the first time in a good while, where you do have to be on top of your stuff. It's a pretty great system to learn. It just like anything, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but it's a great
Right.
tool to have in your toolbox. And so it's one of those where, let's say somebody likes to dead hang. It's kind of like a scatterbomb approach to elongating your spine. If you ever had like someone come across you had to do a consultation with, where they're like, my L3, L4, my L2, L3 suffered an injury, and you're kind of like, we need to have a little bit of capacity there because it's just smashing onto each other.
Right.
How would I decompress that? How would I get you in a posture that can actually have you build some capacity? But it's like, I'm going to need to give you more awareness of your hips, maybe in your T-spine, but just something that makes you get up taller,
Mhm.
things like that, where it's an awesome tool again. And
Right.
I mean, right now I'm just marinating on all the info I got.
Well, how long was it?
It's 4 days.
Holy shit, 4 days?
4 days, at least 8 hours, like every day. The funny part was
My brain would be fucking fried.
that's where I was. I wanted to lay on my face and cry on like, the streets of like Seal Beach.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Dude,
like, just
I
walk
would-
around me. just go, people. But and especially it was the only one where we were scheduled to be there, like, let's say like 9 to 5.
Right.
And they were like, oh, you guys also are going to show up at 8 because we do Eldoa fitness classes. And so you guys are going to be doing that. And you're still going to be staying until 5. So you're doing the fitness class that they offer at Beach Fitness. And then we're going to go into lecture or the hands-on. And day 1, a lot of lecture. Like, we didn't do the fitness stuff.
Right.
Day 2, 3, 4, fitness class in the morning. Day 2 was a pretty good amount of lecture. Then we got into lumbar spine, and then we were just marching up the spine.
Really?
And it was like you're going to be putting 3 people through this, and then you're getting it done to you 3 times. So I did notice like Sunday I was sitting. I was like, I am tall.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like,
what did you guys do exactly? Because it seems like you guys just more focused on the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine, right?
And the levels further, the ribs, the sacrum, and like hips, flexor, and everything else kind of comes into play. But that one was just the spine itself. And so then it was just going through, and for me, I'd never palpated anyone, so that was kind of a learning curve there.
So what is that?
And that's where basically I have to get my fingers into spine and find a landmark. Like if I'm trying to find somebody's, like I'm locating pelvis, I'm reaching over and I'm finding their L4. And then you're traveling up or down, where it's like if I'm doing L4, L5, I can reach down, find L5, reach down. That's where their sacrum is. I know where I'm at then. And because in some of these positions, when you move them, you can actually feel when tension comes into that spot, when your finger is in their spine, when they have like achieved it. Whoa. And then it's like hold this for 30, 45, 60 seconds, whatever we're kind of going for. And usually it's about a minute tops.
Okay.
And I'm asking you to do so much stuff where, like, let's say L5S1, we're laying on our back, your sits bones are up to the wall, your feet are up against it, and some people are lighting up already just because their hamstrings are so tight. But I'm having you push through your heels, I'm having you invert, and then you're internally rotating at the femurs, making sure that you're in a posterior tilt, so you're...
Oh, so you're supinated.
Yep.
Okay.
And so then you're sitting there. Like if you have a tight posterior, you're just lighting up already. And then we bring the arms in. And so basically when you're reaching out, you're externally rotating the shoulders, you're pulling away.
Right.
And so by being on the wall with the legs and being on the floor with your arms, we're attacking that L5S1 joint that is usually a problem for a lot of us.
Right.
And we're creating space in the joint by pulling ourselves away. But you have to have so much awareness to achieve it, and you have to be pretty cautious of what you're doing, because there's times where, like, if you bring one arm back at a time instead of 2, you can create some rotation that on the spine that you don't exactly want. There's a whole lot of things that can end up happening.
So you can't do any unilateral work? It has to be bilateral, like just 2 at a time? Or is there like you can do some things with like different?
There's somewhere, like on the hip flexor, you can end up being unilateral.
Okay.
Just because you're trying to elongate that side,
right.
like for like that, just for everything in there. But you still, when you're setting up the position, you at least want to have both arms there at the same time, and then you can let one go. But if I only reach with one, I create a little bit of a rotation here.
Right.
And so it's just, you want to be mindful of the little things, just because if it's such a strong system, if it has the power to move your spine out of a position that it's been in for years, it can definitely put it into something worse.
Right.
So it's just one where you really, really want to be on top of things. And they don't even let you do how-to videos for this.
Really?
The guy who created it, they basically scour the internet, and they will... Anyone who is certified in it is told, like, don't do how-tos. Like, could put all the videos of people in the positions and this and that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do how-tos, because what's nice is it keeps the product
fresh,
pretty fresh.
Right.
Like you keep people who are certified in it doing it. So most of the videos I've seen that are still out there, if they are even still out there, I've seen little things where it's like, oh, that doesn't actually line up. So it's you don't want to just go off of the internet on that sometimes.
Well, yeah, there's so much false leading information on the internet that you can get. And I mean, a lot of it does actually come from physical therapists or even chiropractors, acupuncturists. Damn, that's crazy. So they literally like go on the internet just to see if their people posted anything, or...
Yeah.
Fuck. Do they have you guys sign a disclaimer? Before you guys go in, do you guys have to sign a bunch of paperwork?
I think you definitely have to. It's in the. It's either in writing. I might have signed something. I might have signed my life away. I don't remember what I signed.
You're like, I remember doing
it's like
this.
There's things. Well, see, they get you so fried from doing this for 4 days, and then they're like, sign that. No, I'm kidding. But that's like towards the end of it. They're like, just sign this paper. It doesn't matter. But no, it's just and it's a good thing because when I did the like something like the FRC and some other modalities, it's cool to get it, but then you see that it's everywhere. And it's kind of like, it's, and I'll talk to people who they're like, oh, I just looked at on Instagram, or I just looked at this guy doing it, and then I started doing it. And one thing is like, with you understand this, where like you have like the eye for things, seeing like the little things, like the little differences that people are doing. So I'll see like when people are like moving their shoulder in certain ranges, and then they still wonder why their shoulder's jacked up, and I'm kind of seeing like you're ignoring a whole range, and you're wondering why this is going bad.
Why the problem is still happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the spinal decompression, what cert is that? Is that like a cert, or is it a company? Where'd you go on, and like, how'd you find out about it?
It's the Eldoa. And so
Eldoa.
I found out about it because about a few years ago, I had a mentor who basically kind of took me under his wing. Mm-hmm. His name's Jeremy, and he is I believe he's an Eldoa 3. And so
Is that like a tier?
Yeah. They have like 4 is when you're actually considered an Eldoa trainer. So right now, me being an Eldoa 2, I'm just this crappy little student practitioner. I was like bottom of barrel. No,
yeah.
But it, you have, and what's nice is you actually have to test out. And so that's pretty cool at level 4, where they keep their product pretty fresh, where it's just like, we care about this system. And that part I like. Like that's really cool. And it's
the CEO or the owner who brought this company up into life. What's his background? Do you know what his background is?
His name is Guy Voyer. He's a French osteopath. He's still in France, but he's also Yeah. And
damn.
What's kind of, it sounds like, it's just crazy. And what I'm happy that I didn't have to take his seminars, because I've tried to hear him talk before, and like on YouTube videos of him just doing a lecture.
Broken English, probably.
Real hard to understand. Super French. And dude has a crazy knowledge of the body, but so French, where I'm like, I would love to understand this, but I got nothing.
You would probably need like an English teleprompter on there to like have somebody write out exactly like what he said.
I'm sure the people who
like captions.
I'm sure the people who took his seminars would probably adore that. It'd be like, this would have saved us some heartache.
Funny. Where did you start at as far as training? Like you're the very beginning of Wes.
Very beginning of Wes for training. Like I was, for a good while, I was just training friends, like doing that whole thing where it's just basically writing stuff for people and just like training people out of like just being that kid who would go in with, like your buddies and at this gym, and you're kind of the one in charge.
Okay.
And like 24 would always just be like, I don't think I like you.
Yeah, I have my eye on you kind of deal. Yeah,
that one. And then I ended up getting a job there because I was...
Which 24?
The Atlanta Magnolia in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
And so that's where I ended up meeting Zach. And then...
Were you working there at the time when you met Zach? Or...
Yeah. I was in the middle of a session when I met Zach.
Really?
Did he tell that story?
Well, he said the first time you guys met, I think he saw you doing something with a lever bell.
Steel mace.
Yeah, steel mace. And then he like just ran. He stopped everything. He just dropped everything and ran up to you and just started talking to you. I didn't know that was in the middle of a session.
Yeah. So it was, I think we, I can't remember if it was just like, did this guy just get like right in the middle of me and my client? Or was this like suddenly like,
oh my God,
suddenly
Zach.
like this guy is like right there.
That is awesome.
It's like, and we've been buds ever since.
That is funny. What did he say to you? Like,
I mean, I forget exactly, but it was just, I mean, I think he was just telling me how he had a steel mace, but I think his girlfriend at the time got him a steel mace that was a 15.
Okay.
And for a steel mace, you would never ever start anybody at a 15, even if you know they're more than big enough to handle it. You never ever do it because it's still just dealing with joints and ranges that you might not know if they have that range. And some people will say that steel mace kind of creates range. And it's very passive. It's one of those where it's if you might be just yanking people into a range they're not very strong in, that they can't own. So it's one of those where the jump from a 10 to 15 is significant.
Okay.
I have a couple of clients who, when we were warming up and doing certain things for the wrist, for the forearms, and a cradle to actually get like a little sword swing.
Yeah.
And to warm up the 360 that everyone wants to do with a steel mace.
The halo.
Yeah. Like we use a 7 and then we move into a 10. And then if
your joints can handle it, right?
Yep.
Well, you got to see if you don't have any shoulder impingements too, if you can just kind of like rotate around too.
Yeah.
For the mace, because I see you swinging that shit all the time. Like I've never dealt with one. The most I've done is when I was up north in San Francisco and I was coaching a class. I was like, huh. And so I just had people doing plank pull through with the mace on one side, but that's the only experience I got. I never really dug deep and researched what all you could do with the steel mace. You could do a lot of shit.
You can do damn near everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you understand the rules of it and how to handle it and transition it, really you can do anything. I've had days where I would do like windmills with it, even though I've almost smacked my head and done a whole bunch of stuff and gave myself a concussion. I've done a whole lot with it. And then even I have like the quad god, the big bamboo one with the 25-pound tiki god on the end.
Oh, fuck.
And
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, and those are when you make a big jump and
Is that the highest you can go?
No, you can go big. I've seen...
What's the heaviest
I've seen
lever belt?
I mean, because there's a few different ones where there's some that you can... There's some that you can make that it's basically the staff, but then you can just apply weight to it.
Oh, shit.
So you can get one going like about 70, 80 pounds that has...
I think Rogue has that, right? Rogue has just like a regular mace.
Yeah.
And then you could just apply the plates to it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Rogue sells... Like they sell it, but I think like maybe ADEX or somebody like that makes it. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But then I know there's a company called White Lion and they've made some that are... I think they get up to like 50 or 60 pounds. And so those things are just monsters. And I know I think the most on it will do is a 25 and then like the quad god.
Right. I've seen those.
Those they should probably make.
What made you want to deal with a steel mace? Like what made you get into that?
I've always loved unconventional stuff. Always. And it was just I had a time where we've all kind of gone through that where it's like I want to be big as possible and just
like bodybuilding splits, just chest Monday,
like just
arms Tuesday, legs Wednesday.
It's like my whole week is just predicated on that.
And you fucking rest Sunday, that's so funny.
If we rest, it'd be like I could probably get more chest in,
like arms 3 times a week.
Yeah. It's like. We've all gone through that phase, and like I'm no different. And because I probably am happiest, like weight wise, around like 180 something, like the lower 180s, where me having like a Muay Thai background, soccer, things where it's like you have to be agile and be able to move well, and if I don't, I am just pissed, and so are my joints and the rest of my body, and. There was a time where I think the heaviest I've ever gotten was about like 202.
Oh, shit.
And it was just not right. Like it did not suit me. I still tried to play soccer and I probably just looked like this terrible orb trying to like lumber around for me.
You're so stiff. So when you lift like that, you're so, especially honestly, for the people that lift like that and do sports, good fucking luck trying to do your sport while you're doing a bodybuilding split. Good fucking luck. Because guess what? That's just not going to work. You have to train like an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
You have to train unorthodox with a mace or a sandbag or with a medicine ball or with a kettlebell. You could use a barbell. There's a time and place for it. Same with dumbbells. There's a time and place. But as far as like the bodybuilding split shit goes, like I've seen it firsthand and I've dealt with it firsthand because I train jujitsu.
Right.
And the first time I got in, I was fucking stiff. I was bored. I was like, wait, what? And then now I'm like, okay, let me do some shovel swings with a sandbag. Let me do some unorthodox shit. Let me do some kettlebell stuff. Let me do a little bit more cardio. And I feel good. Like my joints feel fine. But I mean, if you get paid for it, fine. But like if you're an athlete, that shit's not going to fly.
No. And that's where even like you mentioning that, like all jiu-jitsu athletes, it's kind of like you should all be doing like the FRC work just because I did mine at the UFC Performance
So what's the
Institute.
FRC work?
The functional range conditioning, all of the end range joint work that like I use it mostly if I have, let's say I have a client who like when they reach up overhead, they maybe just like they can't get their arm right by even like their ear. It's basically like you're engaging more of your chest than your actual shoulder.
Right. And you're just at a 45. You're not on a complete 90. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been compensating, saying like, this is how I do my shoulder stuff for that long. And it's like, so your chest thinks it's your shoulder. Okay, cool. So it's like, I have a fun time ahead of me for that.
Right.
And so it's doing all the work that, how can I safely, without putting a bunch of weight in your hand and being like, we're going to have you crank out here and achieve strength by going, let's do this type of move that gets you a stretch. And then we get flexibility and we turn that flexibility using some sort of passive stretch into mobility. So you own it. And again, a lot of ways to skin a cat. That's just a system that's been around forever. And
yeah, there's a bunch of different ways.
Oh, yeah.
You can go from scapular wall slides to being on a Swiss ball and having your chest on it and just doing Ys. It's just I think as long as the client's able to do some type of range of motion, I mean, they'll get better at it.
I have one client. We're just speaking of the not so much the scapular, like the I's, Y's, and T's.
Right.
He reaches overhead and he's a big burly hockey guy. He reaches overhead and his head sinks down.
Oh shit.
Can barely get his arm to that full extension there or to be fully extended over his head. And so I was like, well, we need to work on this. And I had him on kind of hanging out on the plyo ball with a dowel reaching upward where it's like, we're going to go through this protocol where you're going to get a stretch by sitting on your chest to the ball and reaching up as high as you can just to get a nice stretch to that. But then you're going to be going through a round where you're pushing it into the floor progressively so that you're building some strength through it. And then to make it yours and make it mobility, you're going to lift it away from the floor after that round of pushing it in so that you can start to own it. And then after this round of owning it, you're going to, when your central nervous system kind of says, oh, okay, hey, we're okay.
Right.
You're going to reach up a little bit higher. We're going to do this whole thing again when I've already watched you probably shaking and cursing me.
Fuck that.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm kind of an asshole.
Jesus.
And that's what Zach deals with on Friday.
I see the Instagram stories. I see that shit. He gets so pissed. He's like, you could see it on his face, his facial expressions when he posts this on his Instagram.
Yeah.
I see your little tennis ball like going at him.
He loves
What's
that.
up with that? What the fuck's up with the tennis ball?
Because he comes in to rise above, and there'll be times where I'll see him where I'm getting ready for a session or I just have some free time. And then it's turned into, because I mean, I never used to train him before all this happened and pandemic. And then he moved when 24 is all closed. He moved over to Rise Above where I had been. And so.
Did he move his clients there? Or?
No. Okay, he still has his thing, but just where he actually works out.
Okay.
And so I use tennis balls a lot to give for shoulders to put behind the back of the knee so that you have more tension when you have something that you have to grip onto if you're doing hip work. And so I always have tennis balls to work with clients, and I probably should just start juggling them too. I need to just start getting into that.
I always see those in your videos. Because I even texted Zach. Zach's like, I was like, hey, I'll ask him about the tennis balls. He's like, yeah, ask him what the fuck those are about.
What the shit?
Yeah, because I see you tossing at him.
I think one time I just basically was just like, that was garbage and just threw it. And then it became this whole thing where now I just...
That's your thing.
Yeah.
That's your trademark. Your trademark now is the fucking tennis ball.
With him, it's just like always tossing a tennis ball and looking severely not thrilled with whatever he's doing. Be like, terrible. Clean it up, Jackson. And
throw the tennis ball.
Throw a tennis ball, maybe hits face, maybe gets painfully close. I had one where he was sitting in a deep squat and I threw it over the weight that was to the side and it bounced like painfully close to his chin. Where I was like, I almost had you. Like, oh, it would have been perfect.
Do you guys ever work out together? You, Zach, and David, or no? You guys just kind of do your own thing.
We did some when you weren't allowed to be outside or do anything. We actually had like I would just grab all of my steel clubs, my steel maces, all of my ridiculous gear, and him and I would meet up. And
at the park, right?
Yeah, at the park, at the beach.
I saw that.
We had a couple beach videos with our buddy Chris, who's another trainer around here who is pretty fantastic with the mace. And so we would do stuff like that and just anywhere we could go where we can kind of swing that around and just actually do stuff without being hassled was nice.
Damn. Yeah, because with the whole COVID thing, you kind of had to work with what you had. A lot of people made the most of it. I mean, and then with Zach too, I don't think he had really any mace training, so it was good for him to kind of tap into that too. It just, the stuff that you're not used to or the things that you would never think that you would get into, it just expands your mind that much more to, hey, now I have knowledge with the mace, or I have more knowledge with a kettlebell system. Not only anybody can swing a fucking kettlebell, but do you know how to do this, that, and
big time,
and everything else with that from A to Z? You know, so hopefully things are going back to normal now, but we'll fucking see what happens.
We'll see. I don't get my hopes up on that one.
Yeah. So, how long have you been at Rise Above Fitness?
For about a year and a half.
Okay.
Year and a half, maybe just shy of 2 years. I had maybe like 12 clients at 24, and then I had 5 over at Rise Above. And then when I was kind of getting ready to put everyone under one roof, right? And then when this all happened, it was like, well, let's just.
I was gonna do it anyways. Yep. Fuck it, we'll just go now.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. And no, I've been a lot happier at that. And it's also at the time there was a lot more trainers at Rise Above. So even like David had been there when I was there, and him and our schedules just never jived, never. And
what do you mean?
Like I would see him because I usually had to come in, train somebody, run right out, go back to 24, and maybe do it again. And so there might be times where when we actually were there around each other, just wouldn't have time to talk to him.
Oh, got
ever.
It.
And
because you were just coming and going, like, because you had other shit to do too. You just, hey, train a client, leave, come back. Like you were just on the go.
Exactly. And so I'd see him, and we kind of got to talking more and more before pandemic happened. And then we didn't say too much to each other during when like the first month or two of it.
Right.
Lucky bastard was sitting there training the whole time in that place. I was like, I should have hit you up.
He was set. He was set.
Oh, he's sitting pretty. And so then what's been nice is after a lot of the trainers who were there basically left, and you have a really, really good kind of core of trainers between the owner, David, myself, where you have a lot of guys who like being there, are good dudes, and then like we all provide something different, but we all kind of like, I love hearing David talk about food because I suck with food. I love donuts and fucking Kraken and fucking like just anything like terrible for you. I'm like, I should probably put that in me.
Right.
But it's also, for a long time I was able to get away with it because I could go play soccer. I could go do a bunch of Muay Thai.
Well, dude, you're so fucking active, especially me with jiu-jitsu. So I do strength and conditioning for 6 times a week, and then I train jiu-jitsu 2 to 3 because I'm super busy. So if I can get in 3, I'll get in 3. If I get in 2, I get in 2. But you're fucking hungry all the time. So all you're trying to feed yourself is calories. You're like, I don't give a fuck what calorie it is. Just I need a donut. Okay, I'll take it. Like In-N-Out. Okay, I'll take it. Like
it's like, give me it.
Yeah, that's all that counts.
There was a time where I was just training a ton for Muay Thai, and it would just be like whatever you got that's calories, I don't care if it's basically garbage, I'll put it in because I just need something.
How long have you been in Muay Thai?
I got off and on. Like I did it a lot when I was like, because I would kind of bounce between soccer and Muay Thai.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like, which one do I love more? I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to that one. I'd kind of get tired of one because I would do one or the other too much. And it's like, I would
get burned out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did some small like smoker fights in like gym, like in the gym where it's just like
in-house
kind
of fights?
in-house kind of stuff where it's just like, it's, if you're not going to go for like your pro card and do all that, it's kind of like, I just want to train and enjoy it rather than get punched in the face. And then as you get, and I mean, if you enjoy getting punched in the face, it's nice. It teaches you who you are.
Right.
And that's cool. But it would just be like, if I'm not trying to go like much further than that, I just want to be able to protect myself, protect loved ones, like get a rad workout while kind of like multitasking with that, where it's like, I can actually use this.
Right. In real life situations.
Exactly.
In case something comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you still train?
It's like I'll bounce over to Timo Yama and I'll train with Ron Skolsdang.
Okay, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I don't know Muay Thai. I'm not in that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And so I'll train with him, but what sucks is when you're busy and when you go, like, because like I'll work pads with a lot of people. I will go there. I don't have that much time. And more often than not, when I would go over there, or to almost any place, you'd kind of run into somebody who's new, and it's hard to get better at something when you're sort of teaching them how to hold.
Oh, got it.
And like during like the session, so you kind of just like,
right.
I will work one-on-one with him and have him beat the crap out of me.
What age did you start?
When I started that, I was maybe about 26.
How old are you now?
What's that?
How old are you now?
36.
Okay. Damn, 10 years?
Off and on. It's good. Off and on.
Fuck, you better not mess with Wes. He'll beat the fuck out of you.
It's like
that's why I like jujitsu. You don't get punched in the face or knee.
Oh, you still do. You still do.
Well, you have accidents like the side of my head here, but like
those aren't accidents. I wrestled with like one of my good buddies, great like state wrestler in high school, and I'd done a small amount of jujitsu, and basically he was just elbowing me in the face over and over, just getting position on me. And so like, and then he was like, if I'd hear him kind of giving orders to other people if like they were wrestling, and he'd be like, swim. And I was just like, so that's what he was doing to me. And he was just giving me elbows to the face, and he was drunk and doesn't remember it. So I remember it was like, I have some blood on my shirt. He was like, next morning I see him, he was like, where did that come from? I was like,
do you not remember?
Bud. Yeah.
Like you completely blacked out and fucking swam on my face.
It's like, and you basically just were all over my face with elbows. That's gentlemanly of you. Cool.
Right. Yeah. It's as you get older too. Like because originally I was gonna my buddies went into jujitsu and they're like, come on, but I was like, maybe I should try boxing because I have no boxing background. I have not even Muay Thai. I don't have like maybe like kickboxing. I have nothing. So. Right. And I was like, wait, I don't think it's a good idea for me to get kicked in the fucking head, especially if I'm like a coach and I got to remember shit. That's not going to fly. I can't go into work the next day with a fucking headache and be like, yeah, I'm kind of injured right now. If I like say or start slurring, you're going to have to excuse me. Like, I can't show up to work like that.
I think like the best, one of the places I was at, they had seminars they'd bring in like Ajahn Chai. It was like some old school champion from Thailand and Muay Thai, and they would bring in I did one seminar with Danny Inosanto, and it was all jujitsu. Mind you, like my jujitsu sucked at the time. So for like a game for him was like everyone pair up and one guy has to be on his back and the other guy is just going to try to smack him in the face as many times as you can over 4 minutes.
Really?
And so my partner, I'm like 5'9", 180 at the time. My partner was this lovely British gentleman who was like 6'3" and 240.
Holy fuck.
I was sitting there and he could smack me in the face even when I was holding him off to like the best of my capability. He could still reach and just whack me. And I was like, cool, this is the stupidest drill on the planet. But like,
that's like combat jujitsu.
Yeah.
Like, did you watch that combat jujitsu? That's
I've seen it.
fucking nuts. Literally, they're doing jujitsu and they're smacking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Dudes are walking off the mats with one the side of their face is all red with a palm mark.
Yep.
I'm like, fuck that.
That was me. I was that person.
Just like a big fucking face palm on the side of your face.
You remember that shit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when someone face palms you like that, and where it's just like you're trying to block them, and you see it coming the whole way, and it's just like that's gonna land, and it not only lands, but it engulfs your whole being for a short time, and just like rocks you,
dude.
Where I was like, jiu-jitsu's great. Jiu-jitsu's just fantastic.
I think you went to the wrong school, dude.
I just did that to, like, I just should have done that seminar that early.
Right.
I didn't have the background. I didn't have the basics and things like that. Like I did some more later, and I got a little bit more of where they would kind of work with me on the ground and be like, it's like, try this, try that. I was still getting owned, but It's kind of like you have to go through, like, take your licks and then kind of like, it's just like apply things and try to just do what you can. But it's just, you have to get used to being in those situations and being calm in those situations and thinking about what you've been given and using those tools.
Yep. So like, I wrestled for 6 years,
Nice.
and it's completely different from jiu-jitsu than wrestling, because wrestling, you can't be on your back, and I wasn't used to being on my back. So the first time I went in there, I was taking everybody down.
Yeah.
Double leg, single leg, outside pick. I was like, all right, this is cool. But once I got them on their back, they were comfortable and they knew what to do.
Yep.
And my first thought was, okay, pummel them. And then they would get me in a Kimura or a choke. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So now I'm trying to transition into, okay, you can be okay on your back and learn to work from there. It's just, you have to get choked out. I've been choked out bad plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten Kimura really bad. I've gotten knee barred. I've gotten arm barred. I've gotten fucking smacked a knee in the head, like knee in my face. But you get better as time goes on, and you need to be thrown into the lion's den, especially with martial arts, to be able to perform better and to perform under pressure in case you go into tournaments or competitions like Pan Am's was. It's this week and ending Sunday, so you have to be able to take that shit for competitions, because once you go into competitions, you've already been through that. So it's kind of like a cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk until you win, but you kind of have to go through that beginning phase before you like start to kind of cool off and get used to everything. So,
and it's fighting. I mean, like, have you seen those videos? I think Joe Rogan will talk about it, and it's just like MMA practitioner versus like Tai Chi or this or that. And it's
dude, you get fucked up.
Oh yeah. But like, and it'll be like in Japan or China or wherever, they'll be like, they regard those Tai Chi, those not like martial arts that aren't very martial, I guess would be one way to put it. That is more art than fighting, would be like a way of putting it, where it's like you still respect it. There's some benefit to it, but it's great for movement, but it's not fighting. Like, you're not.
What's that martial art where you learn to just like, I'm having a blank, but you can take somebody's gun or like disarm somebody.
Oh, Krav Maga?
Krav Maga.
Yeah.
I've seen Krav Maga, like a guy in Krav Maga versus a Muay Thai fighter or a kickboxer. It's so sad.
Oh, yeah.
They will get fucking knocked out or rocked. Like,
and especially where Krav Maga is just such like a system, like, or it's like you're not really, like, you're taking so many things from other systems, like, and it's, I mean, great for self-defense. If someone pulls a knife and pulls a gun,
right,
it's great for that. Like, if you have a guy who's a pretty high-level Muay Thai practitioner and he's not going to give you, like, he doesn't have a knife and he's not going to give very much away,
right,
it's probably going to put his elbow in your fucking face. It's probably going to put you on your face.
There's videos too going around of fake jujitsu. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so there's guys pretending to be Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belts, and they're opening up schools. And the schools look like shit.
Yeah.
It literally looks like a house basement. The guy literally took out all of his flooring, took out all of his like couches and stuff you usually put it in the living room floor, and he just puts mats. and he names it some fucking Brazilian shit. And then he calls it a fucking school. Like there's shit like that. And there's these, it was on YouTube. I totally forgot the name of it. It's these two guys and they're brown belts, I would have to say. And they try to find, no, this is their deal. So they try to find people like that who come off as black belts but are not. And they'll go in and they'll call out the sensei or the professor. And they'll be like, hey, let's roll. And the professor's like, no. So there's people like that put off like, hey, I'm a black belt, but you've never heard of me and I've never done any competitions. Like, it's fucking wild, dude. Like, I'm like, what?
There's so many amazing self-defense videos out there.
Yeah.
Just the crap people come up with. Like, I've seen one where it's like a guy, it would be like a dude who probably has never worked out in his life. Just looks like he got right off the couch and put on some sort of gi and was just like, attack me. But my power is if you grab my groin, it's going to inflict you so hard that like all of your like chi and mana will just be will be stolen from you. While I do nothing, I'm just going to like harness everything right here.
What is that?
It's ridiculous.
Holy shit.
But like you'll see guys who like they have students somehow. People believe the crap they're selling. It makes no sense. But there's you could go down such a rabbit hole of hilariously stupid self-defense like practicing. That is fucking
funny.
Amazing.
That's kind of it reminds me of the Bikram yoga guy. Did you hear about that?
I've heard so much crap like where he's a terrible scumbag.
Yeah, he's a scumbag, and he made up he basically built an empire, right? And then there was this thing about him to where he had things going on with women, and he said a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So now they changed it to hot yoga. He's not even allowed in the U.S.
Really?
If he comes on the U.S. on U.S. soils, he's arrested. So I don't know where he's at. I think he's in Europe or some shit like that.
Just being a
But
scumbag.
somehow he still has students. Somehow it's fucking
Makes
wild
no
what
sense.
people follow. And I'm like, wait, what? You know this guy's a scumbag, or you know this jiu-jitsu professor or practitioner doesn't really have his belt and he's never been in a competition or anything like that, and you still follow him? I'm like, wow. Like,
yeah. It's
fucking funny, dude.
nuts.
It's wild. I don't think people have like really any common sense, you know?
There's plenty of people that don't.
Yeah.
That really, really don't.
So because you said it seems like you go to a lot of seminars for, what you do. As far as your like BS, because you have your BS in kinesiology, right? At Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah.
What made you go into kinesiology?
Funny enough, I had a bachelor's in advertising before, and I was working for a music company that I'd interned for like a short bit, for a really, really short time. I was so insanely unhappy having to travel up to LA all the time it was an internship that turned into a job for a short bit, and I just was like, I actually don't want to do this. Where it was cool that we'd be working with music in the music industry, where they were getting like finding bands and turning around and off like kind of advertising that to big studios for TV shows, movies, things like that, and then getting to work with them and do cool stuff for them. But it was soul draining, to put it one way.
Why?
It's when you like, for me, I grew up just playing tons of sports, just always moving. I hated just being in a chair stuck. And whereas just like, I love music and things, but it wasn't, when you kind of look at it in the scheme of like, can I do this for how long?
Okay.
Like for years and years and years? No, absolutely not. This is awful. And I liked using the creative side, like kind of working with groups, working with other people, making like cool advertisements for stuff. But it was just like not really what I wanted to do. And I was in a situation where I hadn't finished my minor. And so I was working still on that and I just redeclared for kinesiology and was more just grinding out like physical therapy style classes. And
got it.
I kind of just fell into training while knocking out that. And then I've really just I've more like when you hear things about physical therapy, when you actually have some clients who come from that, and some have like terrible stories and some have had good experiences. I kind of just enjoyed the freedom of being able to work boxing one day, bunch of steel mace, steel clubs, another. Just I have so much variation I can do with people. I can still get that awesome feeling that you'd want from helping somebody get out of pain that physical therapy provides, doing joint work, doing all this stuff.
Doing stuff a lot more fun.
Yes. Yeah. And so people would kind of ask me if I ever thought about going for like PT school, and I'm just never want to.
I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, and everybody likes certain things, right? So if you, like, I know a guy who's in physical therapy, he does great, but it's kind of the same with me. Would I want to go into it? No, because that's not the lifestyle I want. And I just think it comes down to the individual difference and what they want and what they've seen themselves doing. You know, I'm kind of like you. I can't really be stuck in a position. It's the same everywhere. You'll hear horror stories from trainers. You'll hear horror stories from physical therapists. And I kind of, it's not more bashing on the physical therapist, but there's a difference, right? So when you're a trainer, you pass a certification. Right. Almost anybody, and I'm not trying to get bashed here, but almost anybody can get their cert.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's very true.
Almost anybody can get their fucking certification.
Damn near anybody.
You have to get your bachelor's or your master's. Now they require a master's for your physical therapy license. And for you to have your own practice, or for you to be a physical therapist at a practice, right? So it's kind of more on their end when I see physical therapists tell one of their clients or somebody that they're working with that they can't do a certain thing, a certain movement. And I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, they can. You know, like when physical therapists tell people with patella injuries or ACL or MCL, hey, you can never walk again. Or even doctors. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Do you know this shit? You're an orthopedic surgeon and you're telling your patient that you just worked on that they can never walk again, or they can never squat or deadlift? Like, do you understand the function of the body and how it's made up and what we're supposed to do? It's just, it baffles me because those people who are so high up on a pedestal, they tell somebody one thing, and then we're not below, right? We know a certain amount. Yes, we do. You do have to know quite an amount to pass your certification, but your body's meant to move, especially after an injury or anything that you've gone through, or surgery or something like that. So that's kind of what baffles me a little bit about physical therapists and doctors.
Yeah. And with physical therapists, they're not all created equal. I mean, if you get one that's pretty aggressive in his approach on rehab,
right,
you're in a pretty good way. That's always been my experience with people who I might get who had some sort of surgery, like the ones that are trying to get you moving and are a little bit aggressive, always better. And there's been some that they re-injured an area because they were very, very passive, or I guess
stagnant.
They waited a while to really get started on moving, where moving has to be the priority. And even the body isn't as fragile as we think it is. Like, I have a client who had a total knee replacement in March. I have him squatting with a slant board, putting his knees ahead of his toes, like trying to strengthen everything around that knee joint.
Squats,
that holds on to that. And it's just a whole lot of posterior strength, whole lot of actual squatting, a whole lot of rotation because he plays golf, so he's going to be torquing the crap out of that knee, which I hate. But he won't stop, so I'm kind of like, well, then I have to make sure that
you're ready for what
I'm ready for this, and I'm ready to help protect those joints and keep them as healthy as I can. And it's just if you want to keep doing that, I'm going to make sure you can do that.
Right.
And so he'll get a lot of different stuff in different ranges. And it's just trying to, now that he has that knee capability back, it's like, let's try to make it so that you keep this. But it's also, you want your client to be smarter, to know that they should be moving it. They should be moving in different ranges and at different angles. And they end up when they see the difference, they really kind of buy in, and you get those sessions become very, very enjoyable.
Right.
And like, those are some of my favorite ones.
Well, it's a trusting process too, especially when you're a coach and you're dealing with somebody who is dealing with an injury, whether they're freshly out of surgery or they're just got done with their physical therapy, their last session that week, and they're trying to see a trainer to help get them stronger. It's that trust process. And as soon as they trust you and you know what you're doing as a coach, and they see the amount of progression they've had since day one, and you've been working with them 6 months, then they're like, oh, I've actually gotten way better. This guy knew what the fuck he's doing. Okay, I'm going to stay with him a lot longer, see what else he can do. You know, and that's what I like about my job too. Because it was Kenny Callanan who told me he went to physical therapy because he twerked his knee.
Right.
And a physical therapist told him, she's like, why are you squatting? Like, you shouldn't be squatting. And he's like, what? He's like, what? What? You're a therapist. You went to school for this. You're telling me not to squat?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like, just don't sit on the toilet. Just don't do all this stuff.
Yeah. So, am I not supposed to just sit on the toilet? Am I not supposed to sit? What are you doing when you sit down on a couch?
Yeah.
You're fucking squatting.
That car you drove here in, you probably shouldn't sit in that. Like, I'm going to need you to just kind of like lay on the steering wheel and just drive yourself home. It'll be great. It's going to go fine.
Yeah. So it's just shit like that. But you're exactly right. Especially with coaches too. We're not all trained equally, and I think that should be a very big part, especially in the health industry too, because with COVID, dude, I'm having problems where people are just stationary in their seats all day.
Yep.
At work, at least you can go up to the water fountain, talk to your buddies, or go on a lunch break, go on a walk, go to the store real quick. A lot of my clients did their errands on their lunch break. Now everybody's at home. So everybody's stationary. Your hips lock up.
Yep.
Your glutes are they're not even fired. Your knees are acting up now. Your lower back's tight. So it's creating all these issues. And I'm like, whoa, like it's sad, and that's one thing that should be pushed during COVID is, hey, you gotta get out and exercise more. Yeah, wash your hands, wear a mask, do all that shit. Like I completely agree. Wear a mask inside. I'm all for it, but also take care of your health, take care of your mental health, take care of your joint health.
Yep.
Take care of your heart health, be heart healthy, and that's something that they're not pushing, which fucking pisses me off.
Oh, I didn't mention anything about that. And that's a lot of where, some of the mask stuff, you'd hear stuff where they're just saying like, the mask isn't really going to stop everything because of the size of the actual virus. And usually like, whatever mask we were wearing, it can't stop it from getting out there. And no one was just saying like, hey, eat better. Like, be more mindful of this.
Right.
Move your body around.
Right.
Like, don't sit so much. This and that. Like, get out and like walk. Stay away from people. People are freaking crappy sometimes anyways. So it shouldn't be that be that hard
people
for some
gross.
of us.
Stay away.
It's like, they're freaking nasty. Don't go near that guy.
That's something it's not being pushed. It fucking, it pisses me off. Like, wearing your mask, wear it inside, sneezing in your shoulder, wash your hands. Yeah, you want to make sure you wash your hands after you take a shit, But I think just overall moving your body, eating better, and just being overall healthy is helping you get over what's going on in the world today, especially with your immune system. It plays a fucking huge part.
Oh, giant.
So I don't know. I just the way shit's going right now, I don't even pay attention to it as far as like what they found new on the virus or everything. Like I'm focusing on my own shit right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm focusing on this. I'm focusing on training and my clients. I'm not even focusing on what's happening politically, or
Yeah.
the meme that's going around with the fly on Joe find it on Mike Pence's
Mike
head.
Pence. Yeah.
Mike Pence's.
Some of the memes for that have been amazing.
I was fucking hilarious. I was like, wait, what? I had to go back and see that because I didn't see it, and someone posted a reel about Mike Pence and Harris's debate, and I saw the fly. I was like, that's what the fuck they're talking about. I was like, holy shit. That was the funniest thing.
The state of things when the fly is what we talk about the most.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's pretty bad.
I'm like, wait a minute. We're more worried about the fly than what's actually going on. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is where we're at right now in 2020?
Basically where we're at.
Wow, we are fucking ass backwards.
The most 2020 thing on the planet, where it's like, it kind of reminds me of that movie, like Idiocracy.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's where have you like it's you have to look it up, but it's basically where over time the human race just became dumber and dumber. Where it's like all the people who were actually educated or like were deep thinkers were kind of like shunned, and they like didn't have kids, and all the people who were fucking idiots decided to have every kid on the planet.
Oh.
And so then it's like over like, like maybe it'd be like 500 or 600 years. We still have all the same institutions, but we just have like...
They're run by fucking dumbasses.
You have like...
Jesus Christ, like, that's what's going on right now. Elon Musk, you need to have more kids.
You just end up having like in that they had like their shows were like based around like someone getting kicked in the nuts, and like their like system of justice was like they had it was like a dude with a machine gun like in Congress just being like, shut the F up, this is what's going on.
What?
We got this dude and he has like a 87 IQ, so it's gonna be great.
Oh my
like stuff like
God.
that, where it's just you have like time traveler who has an average IQ today, and he finds himself in that time, and it's just like, what is happening? And they did have like a Costco that was like the size of a city.
I remember that movie.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
He was an average person.
Yes.
But when he went to the future, he had the highest IQ out of everyone.
And
what the fuck? That's scary.
And so he got onto like the president's cabinet.
Oh.
Like just for,
My
he was
God.
in jail, tested like, they did an IQ test on him, and he ended up getting on the president's cabinet in that movie.
Wow. What was he, like at a 110?
Well, he was like the only one who could put like a square into a square like peg. Like that was a test, and like you would see the guy trying to push like a circle into it and just like forcing it.
God, that's literally what's happening in the fucking United States right now in 2020. Jesus fucking Christ. That's what's going on.
That's a good movie for you to watch.
Okay. What is it called?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy?
Yeah, it's a funny one.
Okay. I'm going to need to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just where we're going in the world today. It's kind of spiraling down into a big fucking shithole, and for me now, I think some people, not everybody, are realizing that physical fitness is actually it's not the cure, right? It's not, hey, you need a like this is going to cure everything. But it does help with a lot of shit.
Yep.
It does help with your it does help you mentally. It does help you physically. It does have a lot to do with how your digestive system works, how your heart works, how your lungs function. It does help with a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
And I just think that it's sad that we're not promoting it better. And I say we because we're all in this together, and it's sad seeing not only the president, but the people up above in the healthcare industry. They're not even promoting it.
Yeah.
They're all fucking overweight. Everybody that's in charge of the healthcare industry, have you seen them?
I've seen I saw like a meme.
Yo, there's like 20 Jabba the Hutts on the fucking stand right now. I'm like, what are you doing?
I think I saw a meme like that where someone was pointing out that it might have been like it's some Scandinavian country or maybe like New Zealand or somewhere like that. If it's not, I'm super sorry that I'm putting this on that person. But
you're gonna so mad at us.
I'm gonna
hey, fuck these guys.
New Zealand's gonna fucking come after me. But yeah, like they showed their like health minister and she's completely overweight and just where it's like you could take it from like a training standpoint where I've had people that, and like I've seen it with other trainers, I've experienced it myself where it's like I could talk to somebody and just dazzle them with like a stupid amount of info.
Right.
But if the other person like aesthetically looks stronger than me or like looks like more the part, they might go with that person. Who is it?
Wait, Roscoe, what are you showing us?
It's what?
She's from Belgium.
Oh, Belgium.
Yeah.
Is that one? Is she in charge of the healthcare?
Maddie Desblock. I think that's how I say her name.
What does she look like? Oh my God. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. So for the listeners, if you want to Google, how do you spell her name?
MAGGIE DEBLOCK.
And she's she's in charge of the healthcare?
Minister of Health.
Wow.
For Belgium.
Yep.
That is fucking crazy.
Yep. And that's where it's like, so I'm going to listen to you, huh?
Yeah.
And
well, okay. So, I mean, so there's kind of like yeah, there is a gray area. Like I've seen not like that to that extent, but that's fucking wild. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
But I've seen some people who not are overweight, but kind of bigger on the heavier side that are smart and aware.
Oh yeah.
And that you watch UFC, Country Roy Nelson.
Love him.
Dude.
Love him.
Fucking like he'll fucking huge, right?
Oh yeah.
But his numbers are probably good. He has cardio to last fucking for days.
Did everything himself.
There's
He's
that
fantastic.
gray area, but to be at that extent and to tell people what to do, and you're in charge of the healthcare industry, like that's when it's not okay.
Yeah.
And that's someone who you should not listen to.
I mean, maybe she puts out some of the best info on the planet. I haven't seen it. Maybe, I don't know if Belgium has some of the best health rates I've ever.
Bro, you know those top people have people under them.
I kind of doubt it.
Like those top people have other people giving them information. Like,
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
not, so I can't really talk shit because I don't know her background. But like the president, or if you're at a company or a healthcare provider, you probably have a bunch of people slinging you shit left and right. Doctors, nurses. Maybe a trainer or a therapist or a nutritionist or someone who has their neuroscience. They have a bunch of shit going at them, so they can probably put out a bunch of information for them to look good.
Oh yeah,
but for their background, I can't really say because I don't know. But no one should look like that and be in charge of a healthcare industry.
It makes it tough. It makes it really, really tough for you to be listened to and
taken seriously.
Exactly,
even,
and yeah, because you're just always gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And even like I had some pretty bad injuries where I couldn't do much with my left arm. And it was like I can barely cue anything. So it was like there's a time where I couldn't take on new clients and I lost a good amount of my boxers just because I was like, I can't hold pads. Like I can barely lift my arm without it just.
What happened with your left side?
It was a accident in hiking in Yosemite.
Oh, shit.
Basically,
would you go up Half Dome?
I've been up Half Dome, but we weren't there. We were my buddy and I were at a man-made, is a water slide in Tenaya Creek. And it's on you could actually see Half Dome from it. Gorgeous. Everyone should go there.
Okay.
But when you're not going down a water slide. But I ended up smashing into a rock. And I was pretty lucky because when I slid down it on accident, it smashed my arm where you could kind of see it when when I bring out my arms, like this one becomes far more jagged where I basically have like a whole bunch of damage, and you can see that one. But then you can see where I've lost all this, where it's like I basically had to build a new arm for all intents and purposes. And
that's crazy.
It's been like a year where I really couldn't do too much with it, and it's getting stronger and stronger. So then like I'll make Zach or like David like touch my tricep, where it's like, remember when I didn't have a tricep and you could just feel into my humerus and my glenoid fossa? It's like I'm getting a tricep and it's gonna be great, guys.
That is
like,
funny.
But you could just see what the body can do, where I was kind of getting ready to be like, I'm barely going to have like a left arm. I'm just going to have to deal with the compensations that it creates, like the pain of one side really, really pulling on the other one and the other side not being able to deal with it. Probably won't be great at boxing. Probably be tough to train boxers and a whole lot of things. But I've been pretty lucky to get it stronger.
Okay.
I didn't expect that.
Wait, how long ago was that?
God, I think actually like the anniversary of it. It's a crappy anniversary. Was late August. It's been a year.
Oh shit! It's been a year.
Yeah, I couldn't. I really couldn't use it for like, God, like felt like 4 months, 5 months.
Okay.
And it's just slow going. But when I did it, it was just heavy bruising all up my arm.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was when it happened, my buddy and I were at the insult to injury part of it was we were backpacking. And when it happened, I still had to like have a 20, 30 pound backpack put over my shoulder when I can barely move my arm.
Fuck.
When I thought I broke it. I thought I like compound fractured it with how hard I hit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like, luckily it was only like 3 or 4 miles, but still like every step I just felt everything.
Oh.
And when I'd also was barefoot and I sliced up my foot on some rocks. So the irony was my right foot got cut up and on the bottom of my toes, and my left arm was the one that was just newly destroyed. And so it was like, well, I can't clean the bottom of it that easily with my right hand.
Right.
So I have to use this arm to clean up
Damn.
all the blood coming from my feet.
Damn.
And then I got to
fucking
throw
nuts.
on shoes and walk out of here.
Right.
So, but apparently a guy died like a week prior on that same area. So they were like, you were pretty lucky. And I was like, okay.
Oh shit.
You're right.
So don't go there.
Yeah, don't actually go there. What I said a couple minutes ago, don't listen to me.
Yeah. Don't fucking go on
don't
that.
go on there. I was being a jackass. Like,
Yeah.
as usual.
Sounds like a good memory in Yosemite.
Yeah, it was great.
That's insane. Well, like it looks like you've not
It's
fully recovered, but
not fully. And I don't know if I'll make a full one, but
progress.
For what it is, it's a lot of progress and I'll take it.
Right.
Where I was thinking I was going to be dealing with it just for a long time.
Well, that's the way your body moves too, right? You have an injury on one side and your body just compensates. That's just how it works.
Mm.
And that's the beautiful thing about the human body. You know, it picks up where it lacks.
Mm.
Like, okay, well, your left arm isn't working. Well, fuck. All right. Well, we got our right arm. You know, that's just how it works. So,
and that was one thing that I loved about steel clubs is I could do a whole lot of shoulder work with it still. So from doing steel clubs before the injury, my shoulder came back real quick. And then it was just addressing the elbow and the tricep a lot.
right.
And so I still like have some struggles with that, but then
Do you think working with the steel mace has improved everything on that left side?
I think steel clubs
substantially?
more.
Yeah.
Like I recommend steel clubs to a lot of like the other trainers that I talk to, where the steel mace is great. I think the steel club, you can work with about anybody, and because we all just need to have great shoulder health.
Right.
And there's more things you can do with steel clubs, where if I have a 10-pound steel mace that's a long lever, it's really hard for me to go into certain ranges because that long lever is going to just pull in some ranges on that shoulder. It's not going to be fun. If you have a small 5-pound club, it can be far more therapeutic. Like, so then it's like if you are warming up somebody who's a throwing athlete, somebody who needs to have strength in certain ranges, like a jiu-jitsu athlete, a boxer, just someone whose shoulders have to stay healthy. And you want them to have, especially like a jiu-jitsu athlete, where you want them to have really strong joints. So like if someone's cranking you, you can stand up to it.
Got it.
It helps out with that, where it's just you start to build power through those certain ranges, and it feels awesome. Like I have a couple clients, the same client who had his knee fully replaced. I make him work with clubs probably once a week like
really
non-negotiable. And
is that just warm up, or is that like the bread and butter too?
It'll be part of like it can be kind of like a cool down, like kind of rest, sort of just getting into like a groove where you're
Like an
kind of
active
just
rest?
yeah,
Okay.
where it's just like it's something light. Like we've just maybe done something a little bit heavier, and I want him to do things with the shoulders that kind of help elongate himself. Where some of them you're bringing it right over your shoulders so that they're actually going down your back, and then that makes him stretch out that low back, little things like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's things that you can get a lot out of it. And the more I've brought them out, the more people who kind of start to gravitate towards it, where people's
They'll be like,
shoulders.
oh, what is that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like so many people's shoulders are jacked up, and they'll just be like, that actually looks like it'd be pretty good. And I'll kind of shoot the shit with them over it and like show them a couple things. And especially like you see it doesn't look that heavy, it doesn't look that imposing. You actually feel it in certain ranges, and it's like, oh crap, okay, this is a lot harder.
But
than I thought it'd be.
it's not even that, it's the movement. Like how are
Mhm.
you moving? How are you incorporating your steel club or
Mhm.
your steel mace or whatever device you're using? I think especially with me too, I need to start exploring out new things as a coach too, because I'm so used to sandbags, kettlebells, medicine balls, airdynes.
Sandbags are great.
You know, but it's better as a coach to explore shit like that. Like
Oh,
me,
yeah.
I have no experience with a lever bell, a
Yep.
steel mace, or clubs. You know,
Mhm.
so okay,
Yeah.
well, Wes knows what's up, so I'm gonna go have a couple sessions with him, see what's going on. I'm
Yep.
gonna learn from him and then explore out. You know, as a coach, I think it's very important for us to expand our minds, because we're so used to like our own little shit, and we start out with the bodybuilding split and
Yep.
we're gonna bench press and fucking curl till our arms fall off,
Mhm.
that we tap into new ideas. So going back again and reiterating on what I said earlier, it expands our mind and we know that much more.
Yep.
So guess what? People with shoulder injury or back injury, like, oh, okay, well, I know how to do this now. Let's work on your shoulders. Let's work
Oh, yeah.
on doing full range of motion, doing that internal, external rotation. How can you, go up on a wall now? Can you go up and touch your fingers on the wall? Or are you still having impingements there? You
Yeah.
know, just certain things like that. I think it's just very important as a coach to always learn and explore new ideas, because I've been stagnant. Like I've
Oh, we all
done,
have.
like
Yeah.
I've done the same shit. I'm like, this shit works. It works. Let's just stick with it.
Mhm.
But talking to you and Zach and David and other people on the show, it expands my knowledge. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
I had no idea what that does.
Yeah. And I mean, like Zach always carries his steel clubs around now. I've gotten
Shout out to Zach.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? I've gotten steel clubs in David's hands, and so he like dwarfs them. It embarrasses me. What's up, David? But yeah, no, it even like you could take somebody who like is freaking real big, but then it helps open up their shoulders a lot, and
Right.
that's one where it's like I definitely have talked to a few trainers where I was like, I would get like a slant board. I would get a steel club before, or a pair of steel clubs, like a 5-pound pair and a 10-pound pair before I'd get a steel mace, because those I am known for having a ridiculous amount of toys. I almost brought in my steel mace with me here just because
You should have.
I should have. It just makes me feel comfortable. It's
like you're like Thor right now. You're like fucking Thor with your steel club.
It's just like put it here, be like, I just feel I feel whole now.
That's
but it like I am kind of big on like I'm getting sandbags next, so it's like awesome that you were talking about that. I worked out with one of my buddies who he has the strong fit sandbags, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna want to get these. So that would be something that
Explore
I want
a
to
new
implement.
avenue.
Yeah, like the
Explore a new
strongman stuff where
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to do carries with this. I want to do squats.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Like I want to get into this.
Yeah.
And it's always, how can I apply this with like the most clients?
Right.
Like where it's like, am I looking into this because I love it? And that's totally fine, because you still want to enjoy what you're doing, enjoy how you're moving, like just enjoy yourself doing movement. And when if you're a trainer and you're having, like, you're kind of looking at some of this, it's kind of like, I would get those steel clubs before the steel mace, because I have clients who are young. I have clients who are older. Like one of my clients, he can't move his shoulders through their range of motion without getting a lot of painful twinges.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making him work with the steel clubs, and he can move it far, far better. So it just ends up being something where it's like you can find a way to make these work with so many different populations that
Right.
I'm kind of like branch out into something different, like, and you can help a lot of different people. It's
Yeah.
surprising sometimes.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, Wes, I really appreciate you coming on the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. We
so-
finally got it done.
I know, right? Fuck. After what was it, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when you
Yeah,
went to
like-
that seminar?
Yeah, about 3 or 4
Finally
weeks.
got it done.
Yeah.
I told Zach, I texted Zach and I said, hey, me, you, Wes, and David all need to work out on a Saturday and just fucking crush it. Like, you guys can write it up.
Mhm.
I'll just show up and whatever
Yeah.
fucking happens. But yeah, man.
We could probably get that done.
All right.
Yeah, we
All
should
right.
do that.
All right, David, Zach, if you guys are hearing this, you guys got to set it up. All
Challenge
I'll do is show up. That's it.
All you got to do is show right up. That's all.
All right. So, what's your Instagram so everybody can reach you?
My-
Facebook.
I
If
don't-
you have a Tinder, whatever.
I don't touch that Facebook. I stay the hell away from that. My Instagram is an impulse forward, but it's _impulse_forward. I'm sorry that it's kind of a pain to type in. And I'm also not sorry.
Wes doesn't give a fuck, everybody. It's okay. He named it that just because he wanted to.
It was fun for me. I got a laugh, and that's all that matters.
All right, brother. Well, good talking to you. We're going to have you back on the show soon, all right?
Looking forward to it. Thank
Bye,
you for having
everybody.
me.